This is a short bite episode of Homeschool Together. Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together. Thanks so much for joining us. We are doing a short bite edition and we are going back on brand. We are back in the game schooling. We have not reviewed a game in a while, and I don't know why. We've had other things come up where I was like, oh yeah, let's do this short bite on this. Let's do a short bite on this. Today we're going to be covering a game. Now listen, in the pantheon of games, we have very important games. A lot of important, styles of games, rule play. When you play a lot of board games and a lot of games, you end up finding rule sets that you enjoy, styles of playability, of mechanics that you really enjoy. There is a separate pedestal of games that my father will actually play with us. And this is one of the games, is Skyjo.
This is funny because your dad's a doctor. So it's not like he's not intelligent, but he will not play a thinky game.
So you know that there's the two memes, and I'll set them. I'll describe both memes because we live in a memetic culture. And there's the first one is, we all know, it's that the Labrador comes to the bridge and he's got the big stick. And he's trying to get through and the stick is hitting both sides. And all of a sudden it pauses and all this math comes up and he ends up turning the stick and he comes through, right? Okay. The other one is, I think it's Julia Roberts, and she's sitting there. She looks kind of lost. And all of a sudden all these numbers appear and formulas and everything. This is the thing. My dad, you throw any game that's outside of like trouble at this man and he gets really confused. He the numbers are crunching and the math is crunching. He's just like, I don't get it. I just absolutely don't get it.
Like, is that what the meme's meant to be? It's like they're thinking too hard about it?
They're thinking too hard about this problem.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I'm so bad at memes.
And so he looks at it. He looks at these games and he's just like, I'm out.
I don't get it. He is one of the most intelligent people I know. But if it comes to playing like a really, what we would consider a very simple game, like we tried to play like Carcassonne with him. He's like, I don't get it.
I've never beaten him at chess. Never. I came close. Never. Yeah. I still have $20 sitting there. It's like dusty and old and like a frame. It's like break in case of danger. And the only way I can break it is I have to beat him in chess. I've never beaten him in chess. But the man would he would get destroyed by my 4-year-old playing him in silver and gold. Because
oh my
gosh,
get confused. He couldn't do silver and gold. That's too hard.
So Skyjo is a game.
Right. With sneaky math, because he doesn't realize that he's doing math, and so he'll play it.
We've set the baseline. So if you have a family member, a grandmother, an uncle, father, a mother, a husband, another child that just does not like playing games, like Carcassonne, too complicated, Catan, quantum mechanics.
But you want some sneaky addition and subtraction to get into this game. Skyjo is a good one. So it's made by Magellano, and this is for 2 to 8 players. It says 8+, but like our 7-year-old plays it no problem, and she could have played it when she was 6. It takes about a half an hour. You basically have a grid of cards, and the cards go from -1,
-2, I think.
Oh, -2?
I think there's a -2.
Okay, anyway. So it goes from a negative all the way to +12.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to do is all your cards, I think it's a grid of 12, they're all turned over so you can't see them.
Face down, yeah.
They're face down, and you're drawing cards and you're replacing cards.
Like a Racco, a hidden Racco.
Right, kind of like that. And so when you turn them over, you're replacing cards. So you're making decisions about like the card that you have face up. Is that a card that you want to swap with something else? So let's say that I have a face up and it's a 6 or something. I'm trying to get my whole grid to be the lowest possible score on the table out of everybody. So let's say I have a 6, right? I want to replace that. So I draw a card. Oh, geez, I get a +10. So what do I do? If I discard that card, I have to turn over one of the cards I haven't turned over yet. And as soon as every card in your grid's turned over, the game ends. Yeah. So you're trying to like not turn over every card, but get the lowest score possible. So you're swapping cards in and out. So the mechanics are incredibly easy. You decide, am I going to swap a card or discard and turn over one of my cards? Yep. That's it. There's no other mechanics to the game. But you're looking around and you basically are trying not to go out until you think you have the lowest score. Because if you go out and you don't have the lowest score, you get like a mega penalty.
You double points, right?
Yeah, it's like terrible. So you get like a really bad penalty if you go out early. So the whole time you are doing a lot of probability work because you're trying to figure out like, okay, well, what do I think I have under there? And should I take the risk? Should I swap something? And you're adding up everybody else's scores around the table.
You're looking and saying, oh, he's got a real low score. But she has 3 cards that are not turned over. Those could be 10s and 12s. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. But my score is this. So you're doing a bunch of adding. And sometimes you're like, okay, if I put that one, then you subtract that. And there is also a rule that if you can get 3 in a column that are all the same number, even if they're high, they could all be 12s. If they're all the same, you get to take the whole column and discard it. Yeah. So sometimes your
grid shrinks.
Yeah. So sometimes you're going like, maybe I do want the higher card.
Especially at the beginning, like you flip over that 10 and then there's a 10 available. You're like, oh, I'm going to gamble. I'm going to take the 10. I'm going to replace this hidden card, and you flip it over. And of course it's a -2 and you just had to discard that.
And so give it to the next person.
Next person takes it. But you're like, oh man, if another 10 comes, I get to remove this entire column. Right.
And sometimes it burns you.
It does. Sometimes it does. And you see people at the end racing to take anything to get rid of these trick cards.
What I really like about this is it's a really good sneaky math. So it's great for your learner to have to, sometimes there's easy math where just, adding one number at a time, but this is you're constantly calculating in your head. You're constantly calculating everybody else's scores around you, trying to make your decisions. And the mechanics are so simple, you can play it with grandma. Like everyone can play this. It's not difficult. It's a really low barrier to entry game, and you can get it for like $10 or something.
Less. Yeah,
it's
crazy.
Very cheap. So it's a really good one, I think, to have on hand. In fact, we decided to leave it at your parents because there's very few gads we can actually play with your dad. We always bring these like nerdy board games. We can only play with your mom and our daughter. We can't play with your dad.
We were playing, what was it, Quacks of Quedlinburg the other week. And and we love this game. And that man sat down and was like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. This is voodoo.
Your mom's a shark, though.
Oh, she is.
She's such a shark. She wins at all our nerdy board games.
She does.
She's just so good at that kind of thing. But anyway, this is a great game. Reinforces some good simple math, and it's super easy to play and very quick. Each round only takes a few minutes.
Great travel game as well.
Oh,
this is a great because it's just simply a deck of cards.
You can't really play it though. Like you need to have a good sized table because you each have a grid of 12 cards.
If you're camping and you throw like the camping sheet,
well, you'd be fine, but you couldn't like take it to like a restaurant or something because you don't have a hand. You actually have a whole grid on the table, so you do have to have a little bit of space.
But it's very small. It's just a simple deck of cards.
Yeah, but it would travel well. So anyway, this is a great game for some sneaky math and play with grandma or grandpa in our case. So this is Skyjo. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!